Paul couldn't help asking, "Is this villa also earned by Mr. Charlie showing feng shui for others?" Jacob happily said, "You really guessed right. This villa is his reward for showing others feng shui. Let me tell you, don't look at my son-in-law. It seems that there is nothing serious about doing things, and there is nothing to do. But his ability to look at feng shui is truly unique in the upper class of Orus Hill." Paul felt a little strange in his heart. Normally speaking, no matter how expensive feng shui masters are, there will be more than 1 or 200 million price tags once, right? Charlie showed others feng shui, and others gave him such a good villa, coupled with exquisite decoration. This should not only be for the villa. There must be other reasons. It seems that Charlie is definitely not an ordinary person. Thinking of this, Paul couldn't help but exclaimed, "Actually, I also believe in feng shui. But I have never met a very good and very capable feng shui master. Since Mr. Charlie is so capable, then my new company must ask him to help me take a look at feng shui." Jacob smiled and said, "Then you can go back and talk to him. Charlie is very interesting. I believe he will not refuse you." At this time, Jacob had taken Mei Ching and her son Paul and walked in through the yard. When they met, Claire was shocked by Mei Ching. She heard Charlie say that Mei Ching's temperament and appearance were very good, but she didn't expect it to be so good. Being a woman, Claire even envied Mei Ching a little. After all, it is really amazing that a woman can maintain such a good level at the age of about 50. Mei Ching was also a little surprised when she saw Claire. She really didn't expect that the daughters of Jacob and Elaine was so beautiful and outstanding. The Paul next to him, at the moment he saw Claire, couldn't help being a little stunned. He was also shocked by Claire's beauty and temperament. Jacob introduced at this time, "Mei Ching, let me introduce to you, this is my daughter Claire." After that, he looked at Claire again, and said with a smile, "Claire, this is your father's old classmate, Mei Ching. You may want her to be called Aunt." Claire was shocked by Mei Ching's beauty and temperament, and at the same time was even more worried about the relationship between her father and her. Because compared with Mei Ching, her mother really seems to be 1,000 miles away. In addition, the relationship between the two of them is not stable. Now that there is such a strong competitor, it will become more fragile. However, out of politeness, she shook hands with Mei Ching very warmly, and said with some respect, "Hello, Aunt." Mei Ching smiled, and sighed sincerely. "Claire, you really look so beautiful." Claire said modestly, "Aunt, you really appreciate it. Compared to you, I am far behind." No, Mei Ching said seriously. "When I was your age, I was not as beautiful as you." After that, she looked at Charlie and said with a smile, "Charlie is really blessed to marry such a good wife." Charlie smiled and nodded and said, "Aunt, you are right. This is my blessing." Mei Ching smiled and introduced her son again, and said, "Claire, this is my son Paul. He should be 1 year younger than you. It stands to reason that he should call you sister." Paul on the side hurriedly stretched out his hand to Claire and said seriously, "Hello Miss Wilson, I am Paul, my full name is Paul Smith, and I am glad to meet you." Claire was hesitating whether to shake hands with Paul, and Mei Ching hurriedly said, "Son, Claire is a married person. It is necessary to avoid suspicion when contacting the opposite S3X." Only then did Paul come back to his senses, hurriedly withdrew his hand, and smiled awkwardly. "I'm really embarrassed, it's because I was rash." Claire nodded slightly and smiled as a response. Charlie couldn't help being surprised. Mei Ching's tutoring was really extraordinary. Jacob couldn't wait to say at this time, "Mei Ching, I have already bought all the ingredients and seasonings related to those dishes, and are in the kitchen now. We'll go in and beat it, what do you think?" Mei Ching naturally nodded and smiled. "No problem, let's cook a meal for the children today." After all, she said to Paul, "Son, you have a good chat with Mr. Wade and his wife. In the future, you have to develop as much as possible for a long time. Everyone knows and understands more. It is good for everyone's future development. Young people should communicate more and make more friends to expand network." Paul nodded hurriedly and said, "Mom, don't worry, I know." Jacob took Mei Ching to the kitchen and turned around to explain to Charlie, saying, "My son-in-law, there is my good tea on the coffee table. You can make a cup and give Paul a taste.